This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Essa. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits.
Phil, me, and Perich.
That's my guy. Oh, so glad to have you, Philip. Philip. What a world we're living in today. Coronavirus is running rampant around, and yes, and Tristan sending me face masks. He would like me to buy him off of Amazon.
Oh, jeez.
Has plans for get one for the whole family, he says. Anyway, but I want to talk. Don't pick your nose. You can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. But you shouldn't pick anyone's nose because you shouldn't touch your face, and your nose is on your face.
There you go.
But let's talk about some of the stuff that's going out there right now. Let's talk Richard E. Grant.
Okay.
Phil, do you know who have any idea who Richard E. Grant is?
I thought the name sounded familiar.
He is in a Star Wars film. Yes, Star Wars. He was General something or other. He was not General Grievous, Tristan. No, I think he was. I think he's actually in the Empire, the First Order. Yeah. Yes. But anyway. But he is going to be joining Loki, and there's questions out there about what he's going to be. I think he's going to be Mephisto.
Ooh.
This is based solely on the fact that the man has a very large forehead and a very evil smile. Here's a picture of him for those who can't see. There you go, Richard E. Grant. It's not going to show up, but yeah. Doesn't he look like Mephisto?
A little bit.
So, but I see it, man. He's got that high receding hair. He says he looks like an older version of Grand Moff Gideon, according to. Wait, Grand Moff Gideon? You mean Grand Moff Tarkin? First off, Grand Moff Gideon isn't even a Grand Moff. He's just a Moff. Because he doesn't. Yes. He was Dr. Xander Rice in Logan. He was General Pride in Rise of the Skywalker. General Pride. I have no idea, but he was. But that's who he was, and he's going to be in Loki. Now, as I said, I think he looks like Mephisto, Tristan. Anyway, I think he looks like Mephisto. Okay. But there is the other idea that maybe he is going to be the old version of Loki. Yes, if he's old man Loki. The only problem with that is I don't think he looks enough like Tom Hiddleston to be old man Loki. That's the only question. Although, a little makeup here and there. But then again, if you're going to do old man Loki, wouldn't you just put Tom Hiddleston in old man makeup? And honestly, the man's been doing this for 20 years. Are we sure he's not already old man Loki? I gotta be mean. But, yeah. I mean, that's a theory. But he's out there. Robert Grant is his name. Robert E. Grant. He could be Mephisto. Do you have any thoughts on who he might be, Philip? Any thoughts or theories?
I don't know. I like the Mephisto thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it fits him.
Yeah, you don't think he's like a...
just based on how he looks.
Yeah, he couldn't be like the head of the Time Variance Authority or something.
I mean, yeah, that's an obvious option. Making him a suit, making him just one of the guys. I mean, along those lines, he could be a Mortis as well. Give him a little mustache. He could be an Immortus. Nice big purple hat. Yeah, I mean, there are options for who he could be. But I think, it's possible he could be more than one thing, Obviously, that's the fun of a show like Loki is, You know, it's going to be dealing with time travel. It's going to be dealing with alternate timelines. And, you know, who this character becomes could be interesting. Now, speaking of alternate timelines, we also, and this is weird because Disney has just announced an animation studio to work on What If.
Mm.
And to me, that's odd because obviously we've seen clips of What If already. And it's like, What If was like the first thing they rolled out for us, and yet it's not going to appear apparently until summer 2021 now, correct?
I think it's something like that. Yeah.
I believe that was, but that's the first time we actually got a date for it, which is in the summer of 2021, which is great to know it's out there. If assuming we all get through 2020, but it's weird for them only to be just now announcing an animation studio, and it makes you wonder: is it that they're announcing it because they just decided on it, or is that they're announcing it because they're done with it?
Oh.
And this is the thing, because as you think about it, all of this stuff always has to be kept under massive wraps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which means that by the time they actually start shooting stuff, everything's pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
And like the shooting takes like the least amount of time of the filmmaking process for these things. I get the feeling, you know, because I get the feeling that they're like all the special effects they're rendering off beforehand. You know, they just got to drop them in, you know. And so I get the feeling like when they actually start shooting something, that everything else has already been decided. Now, we know they already started shooting Loki, and now they're just now announcing that there's an actor in it. But that actor probably was already cast. They've probably already shot all of his roles.
Mm.
Which means they're not going to announce it until there's nothing more to leak. Good night, Tristan. Because obviously if they have all of his stuff in the can, now they can say, oh yeah, and he's in this show, and it's not a big surprise when they reveal that when they start showing you the footage. So I think a lot of these shows are going to get a lot more accelerated because I think a lot of this stuff has already been done.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now we're in this stage where once they start announcing things start to move a lot faster.
Hmm.
And, you know, even though these things aren't scheduled, I think when's Loki scheduled? It's like scheduled for later this year, right?
Yeah. No, I'm going to look up a specific.
Or is it early next year? It's either early next year or late this year.
I thought it was this year. Let's see.
But I know that, yeah, it has to be late next or early next year because WandaVision got pushed back to this year.
Oh no, Loki is 2021 also. Early, it says early 2021.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be, you know, WandaVision, I think we said it's probably going to be in December. And Loki will probably be either January or February. But, you know, it's this idea that they're going to have it all in the can before they release it.
Mm-hmm. Because
you don't want to be, like, racing to get it done before you release it, you know. So I get the feeling with them announcing the studio, it tells me that most of the work that studio has done is already done. That they were doing it under a pseudonym, you know, a Cloverfield Pictures kind of thing, where they had a pseudonym for the show, as you usually shoot these things with a pseudonym. And then, you know, once they're done, then they say, oh, actually that project that this company was working on that everyone's wondering what it was, that was actually Marvel's What If, you know. So I think that means that we're getting closer to What If, even though now we know it's not going to be released until the summer of 2021. Which is exhausting, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, animation takes a little longer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. But then again, like I said, I get the feeling that they're probably mostly done with that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be announcing it. Or at least, or it's a situation where they're going to be working on it still, but at this point they knew it was going to come out that they were working on it. They're doing enough work on it now that they knew that people were going to find out about this studio, and so they might as well just announce it now. But all that stuff, it's all well and good. There is something I did want to talk about that we didn't get to talk about last week.
Okay.
And that is Rey's father.
Ooh.
Because we have gotten the reveal, and again, it seems like there's a lot of stuff that's in the Star Wars novelization that we just never got in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they're very slow reading it. Like, you know, sort of like how, you know, the Mary Sue doesn't know that there's a trans character in the Incredible Hulk right now.
It's only been like 2 days.
Well, yeah, I guess it has only been 2 days. So, yeah, I guess usually these things do take time. It's weird. Like, I read it. Why haven't all you people read it yet? So, well, I guess maybe like with stuff like that, you think there'd be like more promotional material so that like these people could know about it beforehand. But I guess, I guess there's a kind of argument that when sites discover it on their own through their own reviews of these things, that's what gives it its viral capacity. And it doesn't look like you're pandering. It's just like, oh, hey, this is what this character is. This is how they identify. Well, do with that what you will. Yeah, but and again, like I said, with this character, it was neat because that did weave into the story very nicely. Yes. But getting back to Rey's dad. So as soon as they admitted, they found out that, she's Palpatine's grandson, it was like, who did Palpatine have sex with to have a child, And now it's revealed that actually he didn't. It is, so spoilers for the novel, it was actually a clone of Palpatine that rejected his status as Palpatine's clone. Hey. Which, actually, interestingly enough, kind of suggests that, what? Well, there is talk that Palpatine had a wife at one point, maybe as a senator, but that doesn't mean he had children with that wife. Yes. Well, that is the official canon now, is that it was a clone. It was a clone that was supposed to be like what he transfers his essence to. And then that clone was like, no, not going to do it. Runs off and actually falls in love and becomes a father. Which is an interesting story in this tale of fathers and sons, or in this case, fathers and daughters, in the sense that at its core, as I've always said, is this idea that trying to control the Force, trying to be this being of power, misses the point. That if you try to be a Sith, if you try to be a Jedi, if you try to dam the river of the Force, you will have power, sure, but that power will be fleeting and it will be at great cost to all of the universe around you because you are impeding the flow of the Force.
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to hold on to it. You're supposed to let it flow through you.
Exactly. And, it's not meant to be for parlor tricks is the idea. The idea is, mastery of the Force isn't lifting a rock. Like, lifting a rock, okay, great, you can lift a rock. Mastery of the Force is understanding how the web of the universe is connected, how all living things are connected, how that flow of the Force moves through things. But it gives you the power to lift rocks. And if all you want to do is lift a rock, the Force will do that. But, as is the point, they have actually droids can lift rocks too, or you can pick up a rock with your hands. Yes, that using the Force it's a very poor use of the Force to lift a rock, and that I think is the point to be taken. That is why, as I've said, when Han Solo says he's seen all of these mystics and charlatans across the universe. And the one thing he knows is that all of these tricks are nothing compared to a blaster. And, of course, what killed the Jedi? A bunch of blasters from the clone troopers. Because, and everyone says, how could he not know about the Jedi and the Force having lived through it? It's like, yeah, he lived through it and he saw how useless it was against the blaster. Well, it's not even that he didn't believe in the Force. It's entirely possible that, the Force doesn't give you anything to believe in. And, even if you're going to show, look, I can do a parlor trick with it. It's like, great. I can shoot you between the eyes. I can shoot first, is what Han Solo would say. That the Force is a parlor trick. The Force is basically, it's cool if you want people to think you're cool, but it is not a tool. It is something that you're supposed to study and master and be at one with. Not to use it for political gain and political control, and certainly not to create a galactic space force of Jedi Knights. You know? You're better off as a moisture farmer, as I've always said. And I think that is what Palpatine's clone realized. That in that wisdom of the Force, he realized trying to be a Sith, even a Sith Lord, works against what the Force is, what the Force is meant to be. That the Force is meant to flow through you, and that what you should do is live in harmony with the Force and just live a life. Live a good life. Live a good life as a junk dealer, as a moisture farmer, as a bounty hunter, whatever you happen to do, but build your tribe, build your world, build your friends. Because those are the things of value in the galaxy. Not being an emperor or a Jedi master or all these things. All these titles and honorifics and laser swords and yada, yada, yada. What does that get you in life? It gets you living in a swamp if you're lucky. Get you living in a cave on Tatooine if you're lucky, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you, I guess, are really lucky, get to be emperor, what does that accomplish? You're always watching your back. You're training pupils so that maybe you might be able to take over their bodies someday. Is that a life? Is that worth living?
Some people just want power.
But why? Power for power's sake? Does that actually give you anything worth your time, worth your worry? Then I think that's the point of it. The point is Owen was right. Uncle Owen was right. You don't want to go out to the stars. You think you do, because it looks like such a grand life to be living out there. And it's not to say you can't be at peace among the stars, but it is to say that being at peace is internal. It is from the balance within the Force. And then once you're within the stream of the Force, you can be at peace anywhere. But if you want to go out and just to seek adventure for adventure's sake, what is its purpose? You know, what do you leave yourself with except dusty old books and, you know, a cave in ruins? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Palpatine just seems like evil for, you know. I don't know. Those evil guys just seem like they want power. You there?
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So anyway, my rant got a little too heated for the computer, and it had to shut it down. But yeah, that's that. One thing I did want to talk about real quick: Stargirl on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I have no idea what this show is, but as I turned on Disney Plus today, I just right there in the upper right corner, Stargirl, and it's like, oh, aren't you just trolling DC for? I'm sure it has to be an intentional troll of DC that they're coming out with the Stargirl. So, oh, yeah, we have Disney Stargirl. What, you guys were doing a Stargirl too? I don't think it's a superhero show in any way. I don't think it's in any way meant to be aligned or meant to be a parody of it. I think it's literally just another random teen melodrama.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Yeah, it looks like a movie because it's an hour and 47 minutes. It's romance, drama, coming of age, musical.
Yes.
She's
got a guitar in it.
Yeah.
Or balalaika. I'm not sure.
A coming of age. Yeah, coming of age story about a high schooler who finds himself drawn to the free-spirited new girl.
Yes. The Stargirl, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Manic Pixie Dream Girl, the movie. But they called it Stargirl, obviously just to mess with DC.
Oh, yeah.
Because DC's going to have a Stargirl. It's like, oh, yeah. So that every time you Google it, you're going to see Disney Stargirl now. Because it's out first, and it's got a bigger footprint.
Stay tuned for Marvel's Legends of Tomorrow.
They're just throwing their shade. They're throwing their shade. Hey, you want to talk some comic books?
Sure. What ones didn't we talk about?
Oh, well, we got Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, number 4.
Ooh.
And it's kind of delightful, really. Because we do get the plot line here that... So, they had the Council of Kangs. Okay, all of the Kangs getting together in their regular meeting, And they decided this time to invite all of the Kangs from other dimensions as well, not just their own timeline Kangs.
Ew.
And we do see some odd anthropomorphic animal-like Kangs and some alien Kangs, but then we get, of course, Kangaroo the Conqueror showing up.
Good Lord.
And all the other Kangs are quite offended because, of course, being a Kang is just a joke to him, because he comes from a universe that is based on humor. He's from a cartoon universe, so they're quite upset, and they vow to destroy Larval World, which is what happens here, because we see Kangaroo the Conqueror on Larval World, which has been destroyed in the distant future. And he's basically explaining to Peter Porker it's all his fault, because he only went to the Kang adventure because Peter was talking up about how he went to another dimension and everything else is so not as important as going to other dimensions and yada yada yada. So the Kangs do not like the silliness of it all. It is very silly, but the Scavengers do fight on, along with all of the other heroes and villains, and of course you get down to Captain America, who can do this all day. But if you can just take a nap first, a quick cat nap, he'll be ready to go. And they do a whole joke about on his left. And then he keeps on looking to the left, and there's no one there. And he says, "No, I'm sorry, I meant stage left."
Well,
And then Spidey and Kangaroo the Conqueror and Peter Porker all come back in Kang garb they stole from the Lost and Found, as you do. And then they battle Kang. And then we find out the big reveal at the end. Kang has been being manipulated by Mojo this whole time. Bum, bum, bum. Where is he? There he is, Mojo. So, yeah. So, they got a big crossover, but now Mojo is going to reboot the Larvalverse anyway. We'll see what happens next month, true believers. So that was fun. Other books I really enjoyed. This was a $5 book, $4.99.
Oh,
Fantastic Four, Grimm Noir.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that. Was that good?
It was good. It is not a set in the Fantastic Four set into the Noir universe story, as I kind of hoped it would be, but it's not. It's really just about Ben Grimm basically being tormented by despair.
Oh.
He's basically having horrifying nightmares because despair is in his brain, feeding off of his terror and hunger. And they realize that this girl across the street, who's a beautiful singer, has been captured by despair. And then it's kind of weird because it all takes place in the dream realm. Even though it looks like it's outside of the dream realm, it still seems to be within it. So I don't know if they're doing a thing where, like, oh, the dream realm and the real world are not as separate as people think. But he does, basically, he goes to Doctor Strange's mansion to get help. Wong is there. He finds out what's going on, and then Wong turns into despair, etc. And then, you get your basic story. He falls apart, he's crushed, and then it is just all of the terror and trauma that Ben Grimm has been through his whole life. Abusive parents, yada, 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 death of his brother. But then, of course, these are the things that also make him stronger, means that he always rises. Get a nice thing here where he's, like, always afraid he's going to destroy the one he loves, and it's a sculptress, but you see she has the long red hair like Sharon Ventura.
Oh.
And then sees her being turned into a thing as well. So that's an interesting thing. And then basically, he does beat up despair because what else you going to do? He's a puncher. And yes, he's in the dream realm, but that means that he's just a puncher in the dream realm. And does wake up, saves the girl. But then you get a little, that's the end, but is it? Because then a little piece of him falls off. So anyway, really good book. I very much enjoyed it. Would recommend it to a friend.
Oh, nice.
And then finally, the final. Avengers Wasteland #3. Or Avengers of the Wastelands. This is cool. So they basically... So it's kind of weird. It opens up with Dr. Doom up in Schenectady, where Otto Octavius has been holed up since they dominated the world. And Doom is like, why are you hiding out here, Otto? I thought you could, we could have done so much, but you retreated into yourself. I guess Otto got really messed up when they took over the world, and apparently, the Otto Octavius comes out. You have so many minutes to comply, you have so many seconds to comply, yada yada, and then of course it's revealed that Otto's been dead for years. It's just the arms are just on autopilot. Because basically he's saying that something's changing and we need to stop it, which is apparently the heroes rising again. Or actually he says, I need to make sure you don't get involved or you don't stop it. So I don't know quite what Doom is up to in this storyline. But we get back to Cedar City of Champions, where the vampires are attacking our Avengers. They get back to back, and then they fight like Avengers, fight as a team. Then eventually they do defeat Baron Blood and his brood, and Danny puts Mjolnir on him so he can't get up. And they start interrogating him, trying to figure out, what he does know. And he says, I don't know, we've been stuck out here for weeks, yada, yada. And then, of course, Cap cuts off his head. Before they were done interrogating him, but he also says he wasn't going to tell us anything more. So that leads to complications. They do wake up Viv, which is cool. Viv is back. And Ant-Man is speaking with Danny about her worries that what's his name? That the new Captain America, I'm blanking on his name right now, might not be a good guy, because we know that he is a member of Doom's team. He's joined up with us, but he's been in a lot of trouble. Maybe we shouldn't be trusting him. But Danny's like, look, you're only creating a narrative for him and then self-fulfilling it. Turns out that the Doombot head that they apparently have has battle plans that they're going to follow. They bury all the dead of Cedartown, and then they go off together. Not before Viv gives this Captain America's original shield, because she stole that out of Doom's museum because she didn't want him having it. And then we find out that other villains are monitoring our heroes and are sending them, drawing them to them with the false data from the Doombot head. And then we see who it is. It is a bunch of people who are really messed up. We've got, of course, Enchantress, Absorbing Man, a MODOK, a really messed up Green Goblin. And I just realized who this I get. I'm thinking this is Kane up in the back with the crazy hair.
Maybe it's hard to see.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe Ben Reilly. I love Ben Reilly. Okay. And those were my extra books this week. Do you have anything extra you want to talk about, Phil?
I mean, I didn't enjoy it. I mean, we don't have to spend too long on it, but I mean, Thor 4, can you explain to me? I mean, Thor, he's basically battling everyone but the big threat.
Do you mean Galactus, or do you mean the?
Well, I mean Galactus. I almost get, but I mean, first it was Beta Ray Bill. Now it's like.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's the entire book was the only reason I even read it was because Loki picks up Mjolnir.
Oh yes.
For like 1 second, he picks it up and says, "But that's a different story." Ha ha! We got you to buy the book. And then, but aside from that, I don't quite get where it's going. It is such a overblown threat that is going to get defeated, because it's not like this is the big crossover event of the next year. It's sort of like, the Incredible Hercules basically faced the exact same threat a few years ago.
And it's like the Galactus from Fantastic Four, too. It's like a giant cloud.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it doesn't really feel right. I mean, as I said, for me the whole thing was was Loki. But then we go to Niflheim. No, where's Frosty? You know?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's like, where's Frosty? where's my favorite snowman? So
yeah,
at a lot of levels, it was a lot missing from it, from what I would have expected. From
yes,
it.
exactly.
Aside from that, it's a book. If you like Thor, if you like Galactus, I guess they're both in this book. I liked Sif in it. Sif was good.
Yes.
But again, it's this whole thing about like, that's all the people from this planet can go to Asgard, which is like, well, it's going to get a little crowded eventually.
Yeah, because they went to like 5 different worlds.
Yeah, well, like some of them were uninhabited, and some it was only like one species they saved.
Yeah.
Although, what that species going to eat? I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, okay. But now they're going to go fight the black swirly Q. They're going to punch darkness. I attack the darkness. I want to use magic missile.
I know.
Okay, and that's what they do next episode. And that was the comic books, Philip.
Yep.
And I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about. I mean, my big thing was really Ray and her dad, because that's the big story.
Yeah.
Everything else, and that's in this time when we are either forced to brave the corona-infected world or forced to hide in our hovels. Maybe we should all just try to be one with the Force and feel it flow through us. And don't touch our faces.
Nice.
All right. Philip, how can people find you if they'd like to find you?
If you want to get a hold of me personally, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And remember to get a hold of the Capes and Lunatics, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. The voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And support all the Southgate Media Group sponsors, Tweaked Audio, Hunt the Killer, Podlife the book, in digital and paperback, and buy with the Amazon link for Southgate Media Group to send money, because these are not free to put up. So, yes.
It costs you nothing and supports the statement.
Exactly.
It is literally the least you can do.
Exactly. All you have to do is click the link, yeah.
Click the link. Alrighty then. And of course, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Maz and Paz and Dr. Doom once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things when I feel like it, at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Super Connectivity once again for another fun-filled week. Won't you come on back now and super connect with us again next? Oh, and listen to Full Stream Ahead with me and Maz Mansour.
That's right.
Arrgh.
What comes after the Mandalorian? Yes, find out.
Yes. Oh, Mandalorian. Yep. That was good. Maz has been busy lately, so we're probably going to start the next show next week. But
nice.
you have 2 extra episodes after the Mandalorian, so we got some time.
Yep. Just trying to build suspense for the audience. What comes after this?
Lots of stuff.